Right, morning. Early start today because I've got a customer coming in to collect this rather special bike, Suzuki RG500. We've had this one in for many months, longer than we expected, to be honest, but there's been an awful lot of work done to it. So this might be a bit of a lengthy video. We'll try and get sort of through the detail of it. The owner has had it a couple of years. He's not done many miles on it. It's been a little bit unreliable as he's ridden it, so he brought it in and said, can I go through it end to end and just try and make it into a bike that he can start and ride out and enjoy and not have to worry about it breaking down. He had a few requests on what to do with it. So first sort of things first, we took the wheels out. They've gone off and been powder coated in this satin black. I don't think the camera will pick it up, but they're not gloss black, they're satin black, to match engine cases and such like. The tyres that were already on were good, so they got put back on again, but the wheel bearings obviously replaced and everything rebuilt. We've done it as a full chassis check over rebuild, so forks have been apart, new seals, dust seals, everything rebuilt, put back together. Brakes have been stripped, new seals and master cylinder seals where needed. The front brakes were actually okay, it looked like they'd been done fairly recently. But the back brake, we had a leaking master cylinder and a sticking caliper, so they all got replaced completely. This is an original UK market bike, in really, really nice condition, but it is a ridden bike, it's not a show bike in any way. So it's showing a few sort of signs of use here and there, which is nice for a bike of this sort of class and this era. They don't get to go out too often sometimes. Once we've done the suspension front and back, it's had a YSS shock absorber fitted. I'm not sure if that'll be, you can just see it peeking out under there, the red spring. Some problems with the clocks, the temperature gauge didn't work. Found out through a lot of investigation and research that's because some wiring had been put back on the clock, back to front, and the wires themselves were damaged, and the wire down near the temp sender was damaged. Electrics throughout, obviously a good check over on those, lots of nasty connectors, corroded bits of wires like you'd expect on a bike of this sort of age. Fixed all those, checked everything else, and then moved on to the motor. The motor internally was very good as far as we knew, and a quick compression test and check, and yeah, could tell that internal working seemed fine. The clutch had drag, so went off to Performance Fabrications, which is Mark Dent's company. Got lots of little upgradey sort of bits for it. The first one was the rotary discs and covers that go over them. Now they're inside here. You can just see one of the new covers here poking out. These originally are in a light alloy finish from the factory. Now the linings drop off those inner covers and they start to fray up and chew up and go inside the motor. So I've got 4 new covers here, billet aluminium, beautifully made little things they are. The rotary discs inside there, the original ones are steel. Mark Dent's does a replacement set in carbon fibre, which have been fitted. The carburetors have been off, obviously, to do that. They've been completely overhauled. We've had and put on, this is a Mark Dent air filter kit, Performance Fabrications Performance Air Filter. It replaces the original airbox trunks that go up and right up inside the motor here and disappear up into the frame. So it sort of gives you, one bonus is it gives you more space down here to get to everything. Secondly, they give it a bit more power and performance. Some other bits and pieces we did while I was down here. All of these lines have been replaced. So the transfer lines, fuel transfer lines, all these oil lines, and down in the oil lines here, you can see that little silver valve there. We've put some check valves into the 2-stroke lines. The original ones that Suzuki put into this bike are actually in the oil pump here. But they're a bit fragile and weak, and they sometimes fail. So these little cylinders here, there's one there, one hidden going to the front carb, and then the one on the other side. They're actually a Yamaha original OEM part off the RG500, I believe. But they fit this bike, and they fitted those on. So it puts a check valve, a good check valve that we know works in the line. So again, on this side, all these hoses, all these transfer, all the breather hoses, literally everything that we thought had gone hard, wasn't doing as it should, was going to leak, going to burst, they've all been changed. Again, that's the billet disc cover here, just on this side, just sort of poking through there. With all that on, it needed to head off to the dyno. So took it down to 2T Engineering, Andy. He's got a brake rolling road dyno, so it gives you an advantage that you can actually sort of hold the speed of the engine of the wheel and use the throttle to replicate riding on the road a little bit. Went in with OK power. It was doing sort of some 70 plus when it went in. Another addition we put onto it was the programmable Ignitec ignition box. So that meant that we could tweak it to suit this new air filter setup. So with that programmable ignition and some jetting changes, we managed to get that to much nearer 80 horsepower at the back wheel when it was done, which is better than they were standard. And considering it's running standard pipes, it's a totally standard engine, that's good horsepower. And you can tell riding it. I've done some on-board videos of this one, unusually for me. I got myself a little camera on the helmet and decided to give that a go. So some little on-board riding. I can probably put those videos into this video if I figure out how to do that, and match those up. So basically it's got really nice progressive power from 3000, which is where the rev counter starts, all the way up. Throttle positions, hardly a hesitation anywhere. It just goes, it pulls like a train, which is exactly what you'd expect for this. It makes a lovely, lovely noise while it's doing it. So that's it. There's some bits I've forgotten, in honesty. We've been so much through the bike, you find things, you tweak them, you set them, you fix them as you go. I'll have forgotten some of them in this video, certainly. An expensive job to do this sort of thing, but the bike's expensive and anything you do on these is expensive. But it's worth it because he can, hopefully, the owner can now go out, really enjoy it, which I know is what he likes to do, and be much more worry-free that everything is as it should be, and hopefully he can have a ride out, get home and just put it back in the garage again. So it's going out this morning. Owner's going to come along. It's from I don't know, way down south, which to me means further south than Doncaster. He's going to have a test ride on it this morning, and then that'll be a hit, I would think. I'm sure I'll probably get some phone calls asking how do I tweak this bit, how do I adjust that bit, but yeah, hopefully just fun to go now.